Good evening. I call this regular board meeting to order at 5 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. All directors are present. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, the only change to the agenda I have tonight is I would like to move the closed session to sometime around 5:30 to accommodate the attorney. He has another engagement. And if we can do that at right around 5:30, it would give him time to meet that.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve with the change?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the changes.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. The agenda is approved. Moving on to public comment. There are no members of the public in person and no members online. Moving on to community reports. We have no one in person and no one online. So we will move on to item 3, consent items. Does anyone have anything they would like to pull?
I'd like to pull F. It
Okay.
says E, but it's F. Yeah,
So,
the revised committee schedule.
Is that the committee schedules?
Yes.
Okay.
It says E on the agenda, but it's F on the paperwork.
okay. I'm gonna. All right, so do we have a motion to approve the items with the one item, without the one item removed?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. All right, moving on to 4, matters removed from consent items. What item?
It's just the schedule. We need to update. We had our Parks meeting yesterday, and we want to change it from 4:30 to 5. So if we're reviewing it, might as well fix it.
Thank you, Gina.
Okay. All right, so all in favor of that change?
Aye.
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 All right, any opposed? Nah, we're all good. You guys are just so easy to work with. I love it. All right, number 5, presentations and appointments. Miss Amy?
I co-chair. Okay. So this is our AB 2561 requirement. I'm going to pull up the presentation here. Okay. Get this out of the way. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so this is for our AB 2561 requirement. This is our second year doing this. It's required by this, so we're going to go through the provisions of AB 2561, the opportunities and challenges of AB 2561, district employment statistics, district recruitment and retention, and final insights and takeaways. What is AB 2561? Assembly Bill 2561 is a California law effective January 1st, 2025 that requires local government agencies to publicly report on employee vacancy rates and recruitment efforts at least once per year. The goal of this is to improve transparency, address staffing shortages, support more effective workforce planning, and to address concerns that some agencies have relied on unfilled positions as a budget-saving strategy at the expense of service delivery and employee workload. So the purpose of it is to address the high vacancy rates in the local public agencies, which lawmakers identified as causing understaffing, employee burnout, and reduced quality of public services. All local public agencies in California must comply with its requirements going forward. It was sponsored by Assemblymember Tina McKinnon and co-sponsored by major public sector labor groups. The key provisions of AB 2561, there's a variety of requirements depending on the employment structure. The district must comply with the following: an annual public hearing on vacancies, which will follow this presentation, requires every local public agency, including the district, to present the status of its job vacancies and its recruitment and retention efforts at least once per fiscal year in a public hearing before its governing body. It must occur before the adoption of the annual budget, and it must include information on any policies, procedures, or practices that may be impeding the district's ability to fill positions. Some of the opportunities and challenges of AB 2561. Opportunities: it increases transparency, public accountability, improves service delivery, and workforce planning tools. Some of the challenges are administrative burdens, a one-size-fits-all mandate, resource diversion, and potential for public criticism. And then, so our district employment statistics, we do this for the calendar year, so this would have been the whole calendar year of 2025. These are our statistics here. We have 27 full-time equivalent positions. Our average time to hire is 23 days, which that would be from the date of application to the actual job offer acceptance. Our vacancy rate is currently 14.81%. Our retention rate, 92%, and the average turnover rate is 25%. Some of the district's recruitment and retention. We use targeted advertising based on position type. We moved to online job posting forums via the daily press, and this year, most recently, we went to government jobs and got a lot higher response. And this has significantly increased the rate for our advertised positions. Our retention, we do regular salary surveys regular salary surveys are conducted to ensure our compensation remains competitive within the public sector, and retention is supported through a combination of merit-based salary increases, cost of living adjustments, comprehensive benefits, and ongoing education and training opportunities. Our final insights and takeaways. While challenging, AB 2561 can be used as a helpful framework for promoting transparency, identify hiring barriers, and support data-informed workforce planning. Annual vacancy status presentation will be calendared before adoption of the fiscal year budget as required by law. Staff will provide concise, well-documented data on vacancy numbers, hiring timelines, and recruitment efforts. The annual hearing can be used to identify any internal policies, procedures, or budget constraints that may be hindering recruitment. The annual presentation can be treated as an opportunity to assess workforce trends and inform staffing or budgeting decisions. And then if anybody has any questions, we're kind of out of a different order than we did this last year, so typically it would go hand in hand with the public hearing, but if you want to have questions now or after the public hearing.
Okay, any questions? No? No? All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so then we will move on to item 6A, public hearing for the Assembly Bill 2561, Annual Vacancy and Recruitment Report. Mr. Bartz?
Yes, this item is heard in accordance with AB 2561, which mandates public agencies conduct a noticed public hearing each fiscal year prior to budget adoption to present information on the status of the job vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts. Staff has presented information to comply and provide transparency related to these considerations. The public will be given an opportunity to speak and provide comments during the comment period of this hearing, and I do not believe that you have any additional comments at this point.
Okay. All right, so I declare the public hearing on 2025 AB 2561 Annual Report is now open at 5:09 p.m. May we have the staff report, please?
We
So that-
just did the staff report.
No worries, I'm following the orders.
I
All
can go
right.
over the memo at this point.
That's okay. Again, do any of the members of the board have any questions or comments? Okay. At this time, we will open the public hearing for public comment. Members of the public are invited to provide comments as part of the public hearing process. And at this time, we have no members of the public in person or online. Okay. All right, so with that, the discussion and public hearing is closed at 5:10 PM. All right. We will move on to item 6B, discussion and possible acceptance of the annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. Mr. Burtz.
Thank you. I'm going to turn this over to David for the presentation.
Thank you, Don. And with this, I would like to hand it over to Mr. Chris Brown from CJ Brown and Company.
Thank you very much.
I have your presentation, so.
Once again, thank you very much. My name is Christopher Brown. I'm the engagement partner. We'll go ahead and go over the audit for 2025. We did meet with Finance Committee one time to go over the numbers, subsequently for an update. So we basically vetted most of these numbers already. Go ahead and, oh, there it is. Okay. So there are two documents that come out of the audit itself, one being the financial statement, or the ACFR, the other one being the management report. Go ahead and advance one slide. There we go. So basically, the management report is our communication to you, the board. You are my boss. It is your best interest that we have in mind when we're conducting the audit and reporting. Of course, we want to, make sure everything that needs to be done is in there or done, and everything that needs to be reported is reported for your behalf. Within the management report itself, there we go. I can just look at that. Okay, within the management report itself, there again, it gives us an opportunity to discuss with you any matters that we think that need to be brought to your attention. Talks about what our responsibilities under audit standards. It gives us an opportunity to discuss any difficulties encountered, disagreements with management, and such. And I'm happy to say that there were no difficulties encountered in performing the audit. As far as the accounting side of things, we're all in agreement as far as the proper application of the accounting standards. So we do not have a material weakness to bring to your attention. So congratulations on that. It's a clean management report. Let me add just a little bit to that. You can just keep it on that slide. So when I was preparing to come out here and talk to you, I went through the management report itself, and in the back of that is the list of accounting adjustments that are made to your financial statements. And they're basically only the adjustments for the pension plans and such. Very clean, very clean. So David, everybody did a fantastic job getting things together. So that's pretty much unheard of these days. Most of our clients, numerous adjustments. There again, the adjustments that we came across here, basically just the pension adjustments and things like that. So congratulations on that, very clean. With regard to the financial statements, within them is the auditor's opinion. And what you see here, it's not exact verbiage, it's pretty darn close. One of these days I'll actually get around to changing it so it's dead on. But this is one of the paragraphs within the auditor's report. And it says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective governmental activities, the business type activities, and each major fund of the Phelan Piñon Hills Community Service District as of June 30th, 2025. So we're providing you with an unmodified opinion, which is good. And we're not having to modify it for issues or difficulties. So very good there. With regard to the report, go ahead and advance. Yeah. With regard to the report, within this year's report is an award from government finance officers with regard to the certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. So, and this was for 2024. There's always like a 1-year lag. So basically, the ACFR, Annual Comprehensive Report, is submitted to GFOA, and they send it out to other CPAs that are experts in governmental accounting, and they go through your report. Seriously, they go through every line in your report, and they have a checklist, very voluminous, of did you do this, did you do that, is this correct, is that correct? And you received the award for 2024, and that is a very prestigious award. And what that says is that your reporting is right spot on. It's you're following all the rules, a lot of clarity, transparency in your reporting. So congratulations on that as well. It's always our goal to make sure that you always receive that as well. So a lot of effort goes into it on both sides. The report has been, I would assume, already been sent over to GFOA for 2025.
Not yet, I was waiting to.
Waiting for this, okay, so there was an extension, and it will be sent out, and we believe that it will comply with the standards and that you will receive the award for 2025. Go ahead and advance. Okay. There's a new Government Accounting Standards Board. It's 101. It has to do with compensated absences. And you can see what's underlined here. This is really the meat of the whole thing. The compliance, and I'll expand just a little bit. The compliance is achieved by aligning the recognition and measurement guidance under the unified model, blah, blah, blah. So what that's really saying is, in the past, there are guidelines for reporting vacation and sick leave and all those sorts of things. But there was some disparity on how organizations, governments were reporting. So there was 2 like-sized organizations, same number of people, same kind of revenues, things like that. You could have 2 totally different numbers. So they basically aligned it so that everybody reports the same, okay? Happy to say that the way you were doing it in the previous years is in line with what the new standard is. There's no material changes to your financial statements in 2025. So very good on that. That's the new thing. So if you're on another board and you hear about it, that's what this is all about. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Holy moly. Okay. No,
That's tiny.
I've got my own, but can you guys see it? That's. I'm just going to kind of go over big picture here, so I'm not going to go through every line item here. So this is broken up into 3 categories. The first category on the left, it has to do with your governmental activities, things like the perks, things like that. The middle has to do with the business type activities, water and such, and the far right is the combined, and it's showing comparison from year to year. Big picture, okay? I'm looking at the far right. Total assets increased 4.8 million. Big items there where we saw a jump in the non-current assets. So you had additional cash during the year, and you also increased investments. So that's what's driving a lot of that number right there. Depreciation or capital assets, it went down approximately $1 million. It's the effective depreciation expense is what's really driving that there. So nothing unusual, nothing unusual. As we go into the liability side of things, pretty straightforward. Current liabilities, the size of your balance sheet, this is a small number, 105,000, so nothing really to report there. Non-current liabilities, that's going to be related to like your debt payments and such. Nothing unusual there. Your pension plan is in there as well, but there was fairly small change in that balance from year to year. We go down into net position, which is at the very bottom. It's kind of like your net worth. I've mentioned that in the past. What I tend to look at more than anything else is unrestricted, look for positive movements in that, and you can see that it changed 11,900,000 from the prior year. So that's a healthy number right there. So it looks good. Moving to the next slide. Okay, so statement of activities. Same situation, it's governmental, business, and total. I'm just gonna hit the big things here, okay? So looking at your total revenues, and I'm looking at the far right column all the way over on the right-hand side, total revenues increased 2.4 million. Of that, the governmental activities made up 72,000 of that, and the business type activities was 2.3 million. For the business type activities, charges for services, that was primarily the big move there. It was 1.669 million. That made up most of that number right there. So pretty good number for charges for services there. Looking for anything unusual, we see capital grants and contributions. You had that, which was not recorded in the prior year. So again, total revenues, 2.4 million. Moving down into expenses, total expenses increased 746,000. And again, I'm looking at that expense line all on the far right there. Again, 746,000. Of that, we had a decrease in total expenses for governmental activities of 197,000. What really made up most of that was a decrease in expenses for solid waste and Parks and Rec. On the business type activities, it saw an increase of 944,000, and of course the net of those two items equal that 746 I was talking about. Related to the water fund itself, it saw its expenses increase approximately 944,000. Transfers from governmental into the business type activities was 222,000 and change. Change in net position, that's kind of like your net income. That number can be found in two different places. In that kind of that far right grouping there, there's a line down at the bottom, it's the third line up from the bottom. It says change in net position. And it's also in that very last number, far right column, all the way down at the bottom, 5,617,000. So that represents kind of like your net income. It's your revenues minus your expenses. What made up that number? We had, I'm going to go ahead and go to the governmental activities for the 2025 column, change in net position. 2.2 million there. It went up approximately 232,000 from the prior year. And as we move into the the business type activities, change in net position, or kind of like net income, was 3.4 million, which is an increase from the prior year of 1.4 million. So very healthy, very healthy. I'm doing the analytics on it. It looks really good. So. I'm going to pass on these because I'm going to be reading a lot of, well, I'll fall asleep really, and we don't want to do that. That's kind of the big picture. You know, we did go through this in Finance Committee, so you're familiar with the numbers and such. Kind of go over the whole thing. The audit went well. We had the guys out here. Part of it was done back at the office. Part of it was here on site. There again, went well. Everybody was very responsive. We were able to provide you with an unmodified opinion. No material weaknesses in the samples that we tested. And of course, we have the results of the year's activities. And I think I just made it before 5:30. So the attorney won't yell at me, okay? So. Okay.
That's right. Any questions?
No, but thank you. I read through the report, comprehensive report, and thank you to staff for doing an excellent job throughout the year with our financials so we could get the awards and a clean report.
Thank you. Questions over here? No? All right.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. So is there a motion to accept the annual comprehensive financial report?
I'll make a motion to accept the comprehensive financial report.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. All right. And at this time,
Yeah, I think it'd
Go
be a
ahead
good
and,
time.
yeah, okay. So at this time, we are going to recess for closed session.